What's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's going to be a hot topic. It's going to be one that's going to be hotly contested in the comment section, as it always should be, because when we discuss generative AI, artificial intelligence filmmaking, I think a lot of people out there are just kind of like, yeah, about it, right? Because it's a new scary thing. I talk about it a lot on this channel because I do, for me, believe that this is going to be the future of cutting costs, of artistic expression, of democratizing the industry, of getting rid of the gatekeepers, and doing quite a bit to put the hands or to put the tools and the ability to tell these stories in the hands of people who want to tell $100 million budget stories, but don't have the money or the means to do it. Now, obviously, that is going to be something that is going to go through a lot of issues as it becomes more mainstream. Obviously, there is the cost of the tools, right? Whether it is like, Mid-Journey, Grok, ChatGPT, Runway ML, Pika Labs, all of these other video generators that are out there. And all of these art generators that are out there and all of these AI, services that are out there, there's a cost. You do have the power usage cost and everything else. And that is something that does need to be addressed. And as these chips do get smaller and more energy efficient, which is something NVIDIA is working on right now, the cost on the energy side of things is going to get cheaper. And of course, as all of this stuff gets cheaper and more accessible, the cream is going to rise to the top and everything else is going to fall to the bottom. But granted, this is the internet and a lot of things out there are going to end up, like being out there for people to see. And we're all going to see a lot of bad AI stuff. We already have seen a lot of bad AI stuff. We watch a lot of it on the live streams. But James Cameron, Mr. Jimmy Cameron himself, decided to come on out and give his thoughts on it while having an interview with the Meta CTO Andrew Bosworth. And he says here that AI can cut the cost of a blockbuster in half. And if this is when you're like, there's no way it's possible, Matt, there's no way it would happen like that. Well, this is the guy that's got the number 1, number 3, and number 5 highest grossing films of all time. I'm not even making that up. It's Avatar, Endgame, Avatar: Way of Water, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Titanic. Okay, and when Avatar 3 comes out this year, granted it will have no generative AI was used in the making of this movie slug before it, it's going to probably be in the top 5. I could see it busting. I could see it knocking out Titanic, putting Force Awakens at number 5, and it coming in solidly at number 4, perhaps even maybe number 3. But I don't think it's going to beat out Endgame. Doomsday might do that. Secret Wars might do that. But that's getting kind of ahead of myself here. Okay, so here's what we know. Here's what's going on with this particular interview today. So Cameron was sitting down on this podcast called Boz to the Future, and he was talking about the idea of what could be with generative AI. Now, he sees it as a tool that could cut down on the high-end effects-driven movies by increasing efficiency. And if you think about the stuff that goes on in Hollywood right now, the high budgets that we see for these movies, and that they have almost like unrealistic expectations for box office earnings, and the budget is so high, everyone's like, make cheaper movies. Okay, well, here's how you make cheaper movies, right? If the talent and the artists behind it can get paid more, but the cost of making it gets brought down, wouldn't that be good? I don't know if that's going to happen. This is Hollywood. They're a business and they're pretty tight on the purse string sometimes. But this is a way to really cut it down. His vision at this point is to basically like double the speed of production on each shot so that VFX teams can actually work faster without really reducing the workforce. He thinks, and this is his estimation, and I would argue that if anyone in Hollywood has a solid understanding, a solid grasp on the cost of high effects driven movies, it would be Cameron. He does think that it would cut the production down by about half. All right. But he does have some trepidations. Okay. There's a little bit of stuff he wants to kind of put a little bit of pause on. Okay. He doesn't really like the idea of prompting. like in the style of, like in the style of James Cameron. What the fuck does that even mean, all things considered? Or in the style of Zack Snyder is something that he said as well. And he's noting here that while each mimicry might be useful, it has to be approached with caution in order to maintain originality and avoid overly derivative work. Okay, but like if you've been watching the show, the studio on Apple TV Plus, which you absolutely should, it's amazing. Even episode 4 basically starts with, good artists borrow, great artists steal, and that is something that's kind of a theme throughout the course of the episode. And again, that is in many ways Hollywood. How many movies are derivative of something else? Avatar is essentially Dances with Wolves meets Ferngully, or Pocahontas, or whatever. Movies out there are largely derivative of other stories, just told in a new way. I mean, even Star Wars is the hero's journey. I mean, you can take the movie or the book Aragon, or whatever. It's the one with the dragon and the kid. It's essentially Star Wars. I mean, beat for beat, that kid ripped off Star Wars, and he got an entire trilogy of books out of it. By the way, just as a quick aside, if you don't know why that happened, his parents owned the publishing company that put out the book. So it's a little bit of Nepo baby stuff there, but whatever. Anyway, going back to James Cameron, because I'm off topic here. One of the interesting elements of this is that Cameron is on the board of Stability AI. And the stable diffusion model that they use is getting better and better and better and better. And that's largely at this point the one that's the most unrestricted. If you've looked up any of the AI generated adult content that is out there, it's coming from Stability. And listen, I like to be on the forefront of this stuff. I like to pay attention. I feel that the porn industry is where you're going to find the most innovation, because people are going to be rapidly trying to find a way to sell you sex. And all things considered, some of the stuff I've seen coming out of that is mind-bogglingly good and creepy. I'm not going to lie. There's a bit of an uncanny valley there, but you're like, wow, my wife, I don't even know. It's like very nice how much. It's a lot. I've shown it off on stream. Well, I've sent links for people to check out. Again, Hollywood After Dark, the live stream, guys, just check it out. We're getting some weird shit. But anyway, I was just saying, like, that's where things are. Okay. But Cameron is not, devoid of understanding the legal and ethical considerations of AI. And there are legal and ethical elements of this that do need to be addressed. He does think it should be regulated. I've said this myself, but he does say that rather than controlling the input data used to train the models, the regulation should instead be used to concentrate on the outputs. Okay. Because a lot of the stuff is scraped from the wider internet. There's a lot of copyrighted material that gets brought into this. That's a big thing that gets brought up by anti-AI artists that are like, all this stuff was scraped. And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's there now. What do you want? Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, the output should be really what it is. And if you look at how the AI art is generated, it's not like directly taken one for one from something else. It does create something wholly new, but its data is filled with the DNA of other stuff. And again, everything you create is in some way inspired, influenced, or derivative of something else that you've seen. Okay, we tend to do this. This is just kind of how we are. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever. I'm not trying to poo-poo it away. I do think the government should come in and find a way to regulate this. Although with this president and all the tech people that have backed him, I don't think that's going to happen. So at this point, ride the wave. Okay, let's focus on the end game rather than anything else at this point, because that's really about it. We have no control. You can complain all you want on Twitter about this. It is running at breakneck speeds. All right. And the train may come off the tracks at some point, but in the meantime, we're going to get some serious evolution out of this in seriously fast ways. And that is going to be something that all of technology is going to jump on, right? All of these people are going to jump on. And that's just something we have to remember here. Now, he does say that he wants this to still have the human touch. Okay, it's like leveraging. He wants AI to be leveraged to enhance productivity and to be creative and give those possibilities while ensuring that the human element, the human touch, the human emotions that are essential to the art of storytelling and art in general remain paramount. And that is something we have to consider here, right? Again, what you envision in your brain, the people that say pick up a pencil, okay, what you envision in your brain is not what you're going to get out. It's always going to be different. Okay. But that's part of the process. And there are people out there that just don't want to do that. And, it's their right to not want to do it. And it's your right to pick up a pencil and draw or color or whatever you want to do. People are going to have different ways of expressing themselves. And this is what I'm talking about in regards to the gatekeeping. When someone says to you, if you say, I like AI art, and they say, pick up a pencil, what they're doing is flexing. And it's a gatekeeping mentality. It's a gatekeeping argument. It's nothing more than a way to kind of put like a metaphorical boot to your neck and make it say, like, no, you're not good enough yet. You're not good enough to stand on my level. Well, the thing is, they're not competing with you. But what you have is this fear of replacement from the community, which is a valid fear. But as I keep saying to everybody, and I stand by this, make no mistake, what you want is to find a way to use this to your advantage. The genie out of the bottle. That's where we are. Deal with it. Seriously, deal with it. You have to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, it's going to drive you insane. And the thing is, there's a lot of people on social media that do this, that complain about this, that cry about this. And I personally believe a lot of them are financially incentivized to do so. Rather than to anticipate where the puck is going, they're following the puck while trying to cancel the puck. It's very weird. But anyway, James Cameron seems to have a solid idea of what he wants out of AI. And the man is in a position to be able to guide Stability AI to get there. He's in a position to work with the studios, to work with the other creatives, to be that kind of ambassador. Even if he doesn't want to, he's already kind of in that position. And as we start to see this become more mainstream, and as we start to see Avatar 4 and 5 using elements of generative AI to speed up the process, which, believe me, folks, they will. If there is like 2 people in the industry that would jump on this shit faster than anybody else, it's James Cameron and it's George Lucas. Make no mistake. Spielberg right underneath him. But make no mistake, they're all messing with it. They're all playing with it. They're all seeing what it can do because they know that this is the future. And my question to you is, are you ready to jump on board? Because I sure as hell am. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Be sure to hang out for the live streams that happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you again. Have yourself a great day. My name is Matt. Peace out.